Torah, Vayeitzei, page 52, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 lines in the top of the page. The last thing that the Rebbe is explaining is that by Yaakov Avinu going down to Chodon, 42, what did I say? By Yaakov Avinu going down to Chodon, transforming it, so then he says, the Shavti B'Sholem al Beis Avi is al Halmad Yitzchak, which is tzchek, the laughter and enjoyment. And he explained down here, enjoyment comes from something new. Like he said, gave a mashal of the parakeet. So he says now, Kamei Mamish L'mayla, so it is also L'mayla. In the heavenly spheres, bottom line is, Hashem enjoys, like we said yesterday, the reason why down here we enjoy new things is because L'mayla, everything comes from Ruchnias. Because in Ruchnias, Hashem enjoys new things. Why? How does it work? Is Yaakov Yud Akev, like we said before, Yaakov is Yud Akev, Shul B'chinas Yerid is Ishtaushes Halokus Ad Mata L'Mata. Like he said, Yud is the highest level, Chochmah, coming all the way down into Akev, which is the lowest of the low. Gam B'chinas Akvayim Shein Elam Es Nifrodan L'Gamri Ubali Gvul, which are completely separated worlds, pluralism, lack of godliness, and limitation. Like it says, Vayeitzei Yaakov Be'ersheva Vayelech Chodon. Yaakov Avinu left Be'ersheva and came to Chodon, meaning that Yaakov came from Be'ersheva, from the highest levels, like we said, Mashbi and Isay, from the level of the highest Gan Eden, all the way down into Chodon, Charei Nafshel Mokain. The Savas Yashmiyayim Bali Gvul Ba'alma de Prudim. It will create a world Yashmiyayim, and the world is diversity and separation, which is B'chinas Nivroim Nifrodim, separated creatures. Shebe'Hashem B'chinas Yashiv Nif B'fnei Atzmei, which that level is called Chodon. Now the Rebbe is saying Chodon, besides meaning Chanei Nafshel Mokaim, Chodon represents the lowest of lowest. Like it says the pasuk Nicha Greini, my throat was parched. That means it's not a clear level. It's a parched level. Hainu, which means Shachayis Elokus Hanimshach Mislavish Bahem. The Chayis Elokus that comes down. That's called Godin Shekel Kaneda, which is the concept of a voice. Mochuster Muster Bahem Legamri. It's so separated and concealed. As if there would be a separate entity. In reality, like we learned, nothing is Ein Davar, Ein Mulvadi. There's nothing outside of Hashem. But it appears to be a separate entity. It appears to be dark and evil and separated from Lokus. And then it's called Vazai Nikra Chod Nicha Greini. Like it says, Nelamti Dumiyah, I was silent. As he says, so therefore, what is the level? Yaakov Yaakov Yaakov's Aveda is to come from the highest levels, from Yud into Akev, not only into Akev, but even into Chodon, world of Pirut, separation, anger, and so on. What's the purpose of Yaakov Avinu coming down? What's the purpose of the Kedusha having this tremendous Yeridah? The reason, the ultimate purpose of why Hashem lowered himself to such an extent into a world of darkness and separation, in order to have his kafir breaking evil, transforming evil, to make dark into light. Has called midas rois, to transform all the bad midas, which are ava v'rish be'er shel havle elam, which is the fire of burning lusts and desires to worldly things, or a kaser anger, lahov, come to transform them. She'irak la'Hashem levade, should only be for Hashem levade, and the level of bittul rotzin, la'Hashem levad, and not in the way of yeshvin. So what's the purpose of Hashem creating the tachteinim, the lowest of worlds? Why is Yaakov coming into Chodon? because the ultimate purpose of all this is to transform. The Choron, like we learned to, Choron is Rina, because the Hey and Ches are interchangeable. You become Rina, it becomes song and lively, dancing, singing, and that's the level of Yitzchak, because it's a new thing. That good is good, that Kedusha is Kedusha is no big deal. That's what it is. What does Hashem enjoy? Just like down here, we enjoy something new. Hashem enjoys something new. That's the concept. Nis'ava Kodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem had a taiva. And Alter Rebbe says the expression, you have a taiva, frek minishkin kashis. You can't ask on the taiva why you desire this. Why? Somebody else doesn't desire. Why do you desire it? It's not seichel. It's above seichel. It's irrational. That's what it is. That's what I want. What does Hashem want? Even though seemingly it doesn't make sense. But Hashem likes new things. What's the newness that Hashem liked? To take a world of evil and transform it into a world of Kedusha. That's what Hashem likes.
Why is he left leaving so much evil?
Because the more we transform, the greater it is. And that's the level of tshuva. Like we said yesterday, the Rambam writes, why does Hashem like a Baal Tshuva? He said because it's a different person. Yesterday the person was separated from Hashem, and today he's becoming close to Hashem. It's something new, it's a uniqueness. Which is a greater level of fear, which means in practical language, to take the bad midas. Shem berish behech, which are lost in the burning fire to evil, lahav chamol hashivim lashem levad, and that's the concept. B'malkim shabali tshuva eindim, tzaddikim gemurim ein yechelim nabi. Why the Allah is like that opinion, that a place where about tshuva stands, tzaddikim gemurim can't stand. And by the way, it's another interesting point. If you look at the expression, the Rebbe said this many times, it doesn't say, b'malkim, it should have said like this, malkim shabali tshuva eindim, Ein tzaddikim gemurim eindim. In the place where about tshuva stands, tzaddikim can't stand. It doesn't say. It says ein yechelim namid. They don't even have the ability. Not only they don't stand there, they don't have any the ability to stand there. So therefore, what did they do? He lowered all these things into the lowest of levels. Why? Because he wants it to transform evil to kedusha. Like he said, take avnei hamokim, pluralism, and make it into even achas, to make it a matzeva. By days and nasatayni godel amayla, it becomes a great, tremendous pleasure above. V'bechinas is kafi v'sapcha, which is breaking evil, transforming evil. Mechashechen l'naheder shalamata, from darkness into light down here. That means down here should be the level of light and revelation and so on. And that's what it says, Yafa Shachas B'tshuva. Liya Shayidei B'chinas Tshuva Dafka. Dafka through the level of Tshuva. Nasa Tainug L'mayla Kol Kach. Becomes this tremendous pleasure by Hashem, like the bird, the parakeet. Vaz Nasa Mechinas Choron Rina. Then Choron becomes Rina. Ayat Ches and a Hey. So he says, Knei Dalin Yuchamitz Amatzah. Shema'ez Ches Shel Chamitz Nasa Hey. Like it says in the Zayah Pashat Pinchas, Ga'ar Chayis Koneh, chop off the leg of Koneh, and then Koneh, if you chop off the leg, pole. So Koneh means a pole, but if you chop off take away the leg, Ga'ar Chayis Koneh, take away the leg of the kuf, then you have a reish. And then Kana becomes Rina, the Zohar says. In other words, the Zohar says, from the Ches of Chometz, you transform it into Hay of Matzah. And as we mentioned the other night, in Torah there's letters that are interchangeable for each other. So the Mashal, Hay and Ches in Torah are interchangeable. Because letters that come from the same formation of speech, like certain letters come from the stomach, certain letters come from the lip, like boom, The letters Bein, Vav, Mem, Pei come from the lips. So those letters are interchangeable. Aleph, Ches, Hey, Ayin, Acha is Mi'agonim from the throat. There are throat letters. So Hey and Ches are interchangeable. So what's the ultimate goal? To make from Choron Rina. He went to Choron to make from Choron joy by Hashem, which is transformation. Okay, like it says, Choron nasa Rina. From Choron becomes Rina, like it says in the Pasuk. Be'ibad Rishoim Rina. When you destroy Rishoim, it's pleasure by Hashem, which is Tainug Shanasa Lamaila, in the level of Iskafya V'Ishapcha. Okay? So what's the purpose of a neshama coming into the world? You need to say the Chaliyah, you take evil Choron into Rina.
Rabbi, did Yaakov knew that's what he's doing?
Of course he knew. He learned this Maimer.
Or he just went through what was destined for him.
Right, tzaddikim, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew what they're accomplishing.
Said Yaakov knew this manner that he read.
What do you think he learned? What do you think he learned in the yeshiva Shem Ve'eva? Yeah.
This was written 4 centuries later. This is Torah.
It's Torah. You learned Torah. You learned definitely in Chassidus. What do you think you learned all day?
This is Chassidut. This was.
Yeah. So that's what he learned. Okay. You'll get older. You'll understand that this concept. And then he says, this pleasure that's created through the neshama coming down, now we create it. Now we make it happen. But it's not revealed yet. Because Mashiach's not here, the world is dark, we're blind, so we don't see the accomplishment. Or to use modern language, the money is in a trust fund. But it's not usable yet. La'asid lave, like he says. It's not going to be darkness and elevating world like his Vayeitzei Vayeitzei, but like it says, the Pasuk says, from harvest and plowing, it's going to stop. Now the Jews are is the Lamites Malachas, creating the 39 Malachas. Shabbos, the ultimate Shabbos and Mashiach, we're going to stop creating. It means it's like the Pasuk said, we're not going to do Avodah Sabirurim anymore. Now is the Malacha of refining world. La'asid lavai, it's done. So all the work we did now, we're going to eventually, so the more money you put in the trust fund, by the way, the more money you're going to get out later. Tax-free. So the more avodah that Jew does in elevating the world, so then that's how much we're going to get. The year.
It's in a trust fund, and we don't see it until Mashiach comes.
Right.
It's not only that, which I think is unfair. I know what.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, but also you see people who are Rishayim, it's like the devil family. The Rishayim having a good time.
Isn't that David question?
I know.
David HaMelech knew it because he asked it.
I know what I know.
No. So the answer is that everybody does good, everybody does bad. Right? Even a Russia will do a favor, does something. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So Hashem pays them their reward in this world, and therefore in the world to come they get nothing. Tzaddikim who do bad, that's David HaMelech's question. What's the answer to David HaMelech? The answer is, tzaddikim on their level do bad, on their level they're lacking, so for that bad, they're suffering a little bit in this world. Then in the world to come, they have a clean slate, mamish Gan Eden. Rishoyim who don't have Gan Eden, so they get the reward for their deeds in this world, and that's it. So what's wrong with that?
It's double test. It's 2 tests.
Yes.
Only,
Yes. But if Hashem would show us to reward what we accomplish now, yeah, Torah mitzvahs wouldn't be difficult and it would be worthless.
But he does. He does what he don't recognize.
Okay. If I don't see it, it's not here. If in the five senses, if it's not by me in one of the five senses, it doesn't exist. In my realm, it doesn't exist.
Also, there is zechut avot. Some people have zechut avot.
Okay, whatever. It is what it is. But the bottom line is that the simple answer to it, we don't know, first of all, how much that person suffers. That's a separate issue. Yeah? I'll give you an example. Somebody was driving with somebody to a funeral, so he told me he just heard that yesterday Elon Musk lost $50 billion in the stock market. So Mamish Rachmanis, $50 billion. But he's worth $300 billion. So Nebuch, he only has $250 billion left. On paper, it's all paper, yeah? So Nebuch made the unbelievable Rachmanis on him. He's broke. Yeah? I'm sure he's suffering. He lost $50 billion. Not to lose money. To have $250 billion. Okay? So it's all relative. You don't know when people suffer, they don't suffer. But the bottom line is people think that people that have a lot of money, they're the biggest suicide rates and the kids are suicide. You know what's going on there. But the bottom line is, Hashem has His cheshbonus that you and I will never know until we become God, and don't hold your breath. It ain't happening. Okay? So then, Hashem has a cheshbon. But it's possible that Russia is rewarded in this world. So He has a good in this world, which is temporary.
No, I'm not questioning. I'm just saying it's a double test.
Yes. It's more than a double test, by the way. Okay. And he says, and then when Mashiach comes, will be Chinas Gili, or Avayla Matu Chinas Yichud of Bittul Batachlis, ultimate level of Bittul. Just like it is in the higher worlds, that the earth and the Kalim and Hashem is all one. Now the world is Mi'ayin becomes Yesh. In other words, now Chassidus explained, Hashem created the world Yesh Mi'ayin, which is, by the way, from our perspective. But the ultimate goal, in other words, Hashem took nothing, so to speak, made something. Our job is to make the something back into nothing. There are two kids grew up together. One went in one path of Chassidus and the other one went in the other path. Anyway, many years later, they grew up, they met each other. So they asked what's going on. So the one in the non-Chassidish yeshiva says, I was studying my whole life. I was working my whole life to become a somebody, to become a gadol. And the Chassidish kid said to him, it's interesting, my whole life I was striving to become a nothing. To have bittul. A nobody, a bittul. Hashem made yesh mi'ayin, and our mission is to make the yesh back into ayin. Mean ayin, not disappear. It means bittul to Hashem, that it's on God, it's on nothing else. And then it becomes revealed the level of Einig, like we mentioned the other night. Einig is the same letters as Nega, plague, leprosy, Nega.
Yes.
Nega is just like Chodon is transformed into Rina, Nega is transformed into Einig. Because evil is like Nega, leprosy and so on. Shubachinas Ein Sof. Which is the level of Einig Elyon. That the level of Shabbos Einig of above comes in this Shit Alfi Shnin, the 6,000 years of creation. The Avodah of the Jew in the 6,000 years of creation creates the Einig of Shabbos L'mayla. Mizel Shavti al Beis Avi. The Chazor of Hashavel Bechinas Yaakov in the level of Choron to the level of Rino, Shenikra Beis Avi, which is the level of Yitzchak, Shu Bechinas Atzchek V'Atainuk, which is a level of joy. She's Galil Osim Bechinas Kafi V'Sapcha. Okay, so this is what he's saying, what Yaakov Avinu is saying, V'Shavti B'Sholom Beis Avi, that the ultimate goal, am I going into Choron, is to bring back the sparks of Kedusha, El Beis Avi, to the level of Yitzchak, which is the level of Tzchaik, by transforming evil to Kedusha, which is exactly what Yaakov Avinu did. Right? He transformed Lavan's house to 12 shvatim. Like we know, the ultimate purpose of creation is Yemesa Mashiach. Is Mashiach, right? So that's the purpose of creation. There is the should be the level of enjoyment Lamaila, and that's the level of Shafti B'Sholim. This level of enjoyment that will be revealed when Mashiach comes, which are the Birudim Lamata of his Kafi Risacha, which is called Sholem. Refining world is called Sholem. Why? Because what is the definition of Sholem? Peace. If you're one person, you can't make peace. With whom are you going to make peace? Right? Like we say in davening, Shnei Ksuvim Hamachishim Zeh. Two psukim contradict one another. What is Sholem? Peace means you two opposite fractions, and you combine them. So he says,
or they could live separately in harmony.
Then it's not real Sholem.
Why? They could live
real
side by
Sholem
side.
Real Sholem is when you become Sholem, complete. They become one. As the Pasuk says, Gam Eivav Yashlim Imei, that even his enemies, Anshi Avsholem, the Gemara says, became one with David HaMelech. So he says, what is Sholem? Sholem is connecting two things. It's later, and I'm not going to be here tomorrow. But so the Sholem is base Sholem. How do you connect two things? You have Kedusha, evil. You can bring evil to Kedusha, you can bring Kedusha down. There's two ways of connecting. Then there's a third way, which happened by Matan Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu went up and Hashem came down. But normally, up comes down, or down comes up. Mm-hmm. Evil comes to Kedusha, Kedusha comes to evil. Yeah. That level is V'shafti B'Sholem Beis Sholem. The Aveda of transforming evil to Kedusha could be done in one of two ways. Either evil is elevated to Kedusha, or Kedusha comes down and transforms evil.
You don't want the latter.
Why?
Kedusha comes and becomes like evil?
No, Kedusha transforms evil.
Oh, it transforms.
No, Kedusha doesn't become evil, sir. The only one